So, obviously, I'm a day late to this video, but at the same time, I'm still going to make it anyway and talk about it. But, is it time to just give up on Zion Williamson? I'm going to be honest, at this stage, it's one of those things where it's it might just be time. It might be time. Zion is a good player, but we're looking at, the Pelicans talking about, oh, they have to trade off Brandon Ingram because Zion, because they need a builder and Zion, you can't work with the two of them. But at least Brandon Ingram plays. At least Brandon Ingram plays the sport of basketball. Zion Williamson has barely played in his career. I get it, he's a two-time All-Star. I understand that. But, Zion Williamson has played 24 games as a rookie, played 61 games in the second year. In fairness, that was a shortened season, so he played most of those games. And played 29 games in 22-23 and 70 games last year. He has been... And then the worst part is he was injured in the playoffs. Zion Williamson hasn't played a playoff game. He's fantastic when he plays. Zion Williamson averaged 26 points per game in 22-23, which got him an All-Star through 29 games. In Zion Williams' sophomore season, he averaged 27 points per game, 7.2 rebounds per game on 61% shooting. And he had the best game of his career in the play-in last year. He got injured doing it. And Zion Williamson is injured again. He's a hamstring strain out indefinitely. He'll be reevaluated. The problem is, a hamstring strain is harder to come back from when you're Zion. When you're Zion Williamson, you're going to be like, oh, he's losing weight. He's taking care of his body. He's already crippled. Why do we call AD street clothes? I'm sorry. Why do we call AD street clothes when Zion Williamson exists? Zion is... he just isn't going to play. And again, when it comes to Zion, he's lost weight. I don't understand anymore. I don't understand the thing being oh, Zion's fat. There were stages in his career where Zion had put on weight. And that's the problem with Zion Williamson's build, is that when you naturally put on muscle, you also naturally will put on... When you're one of those big guys, you're going to put on bulk. It's why, what's his name? Luka Doncic is the same. Nikola Jokic is the same. Where it's hard to keep the weight off, but you have the advantage of you having that natural level of strength that guys don't have. And you could tell in the offseason this year, Zion Williamson did. You can tell he took it seriously. The problem is that just so much wear and tear on his body, on his knees, and he probably didn't take it. He didn't take strength and conditioning serious early enough in his career. And you might be saying, oh, he's still young. And he is. The guy's will be 25 years old at the end of the season. He is 25 years old going on 36 with the amount of injuries he's had. And the fact is that he's still going to be really effective. But for me, I'm if you're Zion, you got to almost change your game. You got to turn into some sort of weird Zebo, more athletic Zebo type player. But I doubt he will. And that's not, again, necessarily on him. But it's just, it's the story of his career. It's happening over and over again. And if I'm New Orleans, I'm getting off Zion. I am. I'm doing anything. I'm doing whatever I can to get off Zion. Because he has signed a new deal. As far as I'm aware, he signed a big deal after his rookie contract. And even this season, he had some real good games. He had some real good games. And he had some real bad games too. He had a 5 of 20 game against the Warriors. Yeah, against Indiana. Against one game, it's Golden State 31, but he had 12 the next game. He's just been fine this year. This season, he's averaging, 22 points per game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. He will give you all-star production when he plays. But he doesn't play enough. He simply put does not play enough. The Pelicans have made the playoffs twice in Zion Williamson's career. He hasn't played a playoff game. It's just... If I'm New Orleans, Zion is not your building block. I know you brought in DeJounte Murray. You're trying to win now. You're not trying to rebuild. But like, if you're in the NBA, you're either in a perpetual state of either going for it or rebuilding. If I'm the Pelicans, you gotta trade Zion, and you gotta make a choice. Because you can get something for Zion. You're not getting anything for Brandon Ingram. Like, you can get multiple firsts for Zion from a team that's going for it, or you can try to look for another star-ish player. Like, you're not going to get a star-level player for a Zion Williamson, but like Herb Jones, you've got a team with Herb Jones. You've got a team with the likes of Trey Murphy. You've got players. Like, the New Orleans Pelicans have players, but they're just not like... They're just not playing particularly well this year. They're 3-7. Zion's now out, and they've got other injuries. And it's like, do you just blow it up? Do you blow it up? Do you go to a team like... I'm trying to get a team that's in win now mode, but not that close to winning. Like, you're obviously not going to someone like the Timberwolves, but maybe you go to... Maybe you try to get some assets off like in Orlando. Maybe Orlando are thinking you can fit Zion beside Paolo, which you can't really. That's the problem, is that, again, what type of stars can you fit Zion around? Do you go to Charlotte? Charlotte haven't been good in a long, long time. Do you go to Charlotte and say, okay, we're looking to blow this up. We will give you whatever way they can make salaries work, but like something based around 2 firsts and Tijan Salon. Something along those lines for a Zion Williamson, if they have them. Like, I'm just off the top of my head thinking of things. But the Pelicans have got to do something. But building around Zion Williamson is not the right thing. Is not the right move. And it's nothing to do with Zion Williamson, the player. It's all to do... Well, it's nothing to do with Zion Williamson, the person. It's all to do with the injury. Nothing to do with his on-court production. Because the reality is he's not very good at playing when him and Brandon Ingram don't fit together. But I would rather keep Brandon Ingram. You at least know he's going to suit up most of the time. Like, with Brandon Ingram, you at least know he's going to... You can't just... It can't be a given that he's going to miss 20 games a year. Especially when you are a borderline playoff team. Like, it can't just be a given that he's not going to play. And that's the problem with Ingram, or with Zion, is that it is a given. Like, with Brandon Ingram, he played less games than Zion last year. Actually, to be fair, he played 45 the other. He's not even... I don't know why I thought Brandon Ingram plays more. No, neither of them are reliable. New Orleans, just break it up. Just break it up at this stage. And to be fair, I still would go off Zion before I move off Brandon Ingram, because you will at least get something for Zion. Why did I think he was healthier? To be fair, he is healthier. He is healthier. I think Zion is just so has just had such bad health that the fact that Ingram, yeah, he only played 25 games in 21-22. He still played that year. Yeah, he only played 45 games in 22-23. 45 greater than 20 or greater than 30, and in 64 games last year. Actually, even though he's barely played, he still played so much more than Zion that I just didn't even realize how badly he's been injured. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, either way, you don't build around Brandon Ingram either. But like, everyone knows you don't build around Brandon Ingram. Everyone knows. And you know what? At least Brandon Ingram has played every single game that the Pelicans have been in the playoffs since he's been there.